Hope everyone's having a great day. This is Jay from J&D's Retirement Journey. For those new to the channel, we document our journey into retirement. We talk about investing and saving. Today we're going to take a look at the Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF SCHG versus the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF VU. Who wins? I was surprised by the outcome. Please let me know in the comments if you guys own any of these two ETFs or whatever ETF you own that's doing well. And remember to hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up and share with a friend. Let's take a quick look at the summary and compare these two ETFs. We'll start off with the Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF, SCHG. Total assets, $46.6 billion. Fund strategy. The investment seeks to track as closely as possible before fees and expenses the total return of the Dow Jones U.S. Large Cap Growth Total Stock Market Index. To pursue its goal, the fund generally invests in stocks that are included in the Dow Jones U.S. Large Cap Growth Total Stock Market Index. The index includes the large cap growth portion of the Dow Jones U.S. Total Stock Market Index actually available to investors in the marketplace. The Dow Jones U.S. Large Cap Growth Total Stock Market Index includes the components ranked 1 through 750 by the full market capitalization and that are classified as growth based on a number of factors. As we go over to the VU, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, it's a lot bigger than the Schwab fund, 1.5 trillion in total assets, inception date 2010, and they've both been around about the same time. Schwab actually started about a year earlier. The investment seeks to track the performance of the Standard & Poor's S&P 500 index that measures the investment return of large cap stocks. The fund employs an indexing investment approach designed to track the performance of the S&P 500 index, a widely recognized benchmark of U.S. stock market performance that is dominated by the stocks of large cap U.S. companies. The advisor attempts to replicate the target index by investing all or substantially all of his assets in the stocks that make up the index, holding each stock in approximately the same portion as its weighting in the index. The fund is non-diversified. As we go over to the fees and expenses, for the Schwab fund, it's 0.04. VU is a tiny bit less, 0.03. They're very cheap, both of them. As we go into the quotes, close of business 8/8/2025. The Schwab fund closed at 30.18 and the range is about 21 to 31. The distribution yield is 0.38 and it pays quarterly. They don't pay a lot, these two funds, not dividend funds, I guess. I love my dividend fund, but we also need some growth, guys. We have to be diversified. The beta is 1.12. Anything under 1 is considered conservative. They're both relatively conservative. 1.12 isn't bad. VU, like I said, 0.03 on the expense ratio. This is a lot more expensive. We're looking at 581. The 52-week range is 442 to 588. For people who can't afford to buy an S&P 500 fund that's almost close to 600, I also recommend the Schwab fund, SWPPX. They're actually going to split 6-for-1, so it's going to be less than $20 a share, and you could buy it in fractional shares. VU, you have to buy the whole share at a time. So if you can't afford this, that's another option. I'll leave a link to a video I did comparing VU and SWPPX. The distribution yield for VU is 1.19. And like I said, the beta is 1. As we look at the Morningstar ratings, these are both 5-star funds. I like looking at the 10-year rating, 5 stars. You can't go wrong with either of these funds, guys. They're both winners. Historic return for the Schwab fund above average. The risk is average. And historic return for VU is high and average risk. As we go into the performance, this is what surprised me, guys. The Schwab fund did better than the S&P 500 index funds, which is surprising to me. They usually do better than every other fund. So it's very important to have both of these funds in your portfolio, at least a growth and an S&P 500 index fund. You guys have to choose which one you like, but I love both of these funds. They both do very well. And I do own VU. I'm starting a position in the Schwab fund. Probably next month we're going to start. As we look at the performance of these funds, I like looking at the 10-year and since inception. We look at the Schwab fund. It actually did better than VU, than the S&P 500 fund. So that is great. It's up 16, almost 17% compared to VU, who's approaching 15%. As we go over the portfolio, we'll start off with Schwab, total net assets about 46 billion, holdings 230. The top 10 holdings make up about 59% of the fund, and it's basically all in stocks. We go over to VU. It's a huge fund, 1.5 trillion in total net assets, 508 holdings, and about 37% are in the top 10 holdings there. And it, again, almost 100% in stocks. As we go over to the actual top 10 holdings, we'll start off with the Schwab fund. You got Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Tesla, Google, Class A, Google Class C, and Eli Lilly. They seem to be about the same holdings except for Eli Lilly in the Schwab account. And of course, at different percentages. It looks like the Schwab has more of every security, hence that's why it's doing better, I guess, because tech has been doing great. And as you can see, the sector weightings, IT makes up about 49% of the Schwab fund and 33% of VU. So you guys could go down the list here. In my opinion, these funds are both great. You can't lose with either fund you have. Like I said, I own one and I'm about to buy the second one next month in a few weeks. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit it. It'll really help us out. All this information is right off the Charles Schwab website under the research tab. Any company you guys do business with, you should be able to do this type of research. And remember, talk with your financial advisor. Do your research before you buy any type of security. I am not a financial advisor. Thanks again for watching.